Okay, let's do this. On March 12th, I was told about this news story about gluten and how it's going to cause, if you don't eat gluten, you're going to more likely to get diabetes. Completely ridiculous. We could call it gluten fake news. So where did I first hear about some of this nonsense? It was back in January 2015. A friend of mine said, hey, you should check this out, the truth about gluten, what they tell us. Gluten-free isn't more nutritious and maybe less so. Number one. Number two, you'll probably increase your exposure to arsenic. You might gain weight, you'll pay more, you miss serious health condition, you still may be eating it anyway. This is madness. Madness. Why would they even say this? Because look what they're telling us. To be gluten-free means that you do not become sugar, flour, and refined oil-free. To be gluten-free, you must eat gluten-free muffins and etc. and pretzels and bread and all the rest of the pro-inflammatory high glycemic calories. I mean, this is insane. So if you do a Google search, which I did on March 13th, and the Google search criteria words were eating gluten prevents type 2 diabetes, this is what appeared. You can see Fox News, Science Daily, and Medical News Today all are promoting this fake news about gluten preventing type 2 diabetes. So you can find it actually, what you can see up in the top, this is actually from the American Heart Association is giving us this one. Science Daily, Fox, Telegraph, so UK, Boston Magazine, a science website, UPI, I think it's a science website, and the Daily Mail, another UK internet site. So you go to the American Heart Association, and then they tell you this: gluten may lower risk of type 2 diabetes. I mean, it's shocking that smart people cannot understand what actually happened here. So then you go to Fox News and you have this doctor explaining to this news guy. It's about a 3-minute, there you can see 3.5 minutes. And she says at one point that as medical practitioners, it's very, very important that we recommend a balanced diet, including carbohydrates, protein, and gluten. In the context of preventing type 2 diabetes, why would they say such a thing? It's because, I mean, gluten has no protective effect on diabetes. It's because when people go gluten-free, because they are dietary crackheads, what they do is they eat gluten-free cupcakes and the like. That's what they do. So of course, if you eat gluten-free cupcakes, oftentimes actually, when you get your gluten-free flour, these cupcakes and muffins, etc., can have more calories. And it's from refined carbohydrates, so you're more likely to get diabetes. But it's not because you're gluten-free, it's because of overeating sugar and flour, which is the big problem. If you go gluten-free and do this was taken from Chili's at an airport, you're not going to get diabetes by being gluten-free like this. I mean, it's crazy. You should actually eat more green vegetables, in my view. There you go, lots more green vegetables. If you go to one of those restaurants where you load your tray up. Now, what we did here actually is we packed the plate thick, and then we built a wall of robust snow peas. We packed in more vegetation, more and more and more, to double, triple the vegetation on top. You can see here, this is all ginger. Very spicy, very anti-inflammatory. Impossible that being gluten-free like this is going to cause diabetes. So let's just say that you do not want to eat a lot of meat. That's fine. You can be gluten-free and eat less meat and be absolutely free of diabetes. So here's an example of this. Oh, sorry. One more example of the juicing style that I do. No gluten here. This is all ginger. No gluten, no diabetes. If you like bacon, on the left side, that's over a half a head of cabbage. No gluten, no glycemic penalty, no diabetes. And then finally, if you check out my how to deflame at Five Guys, no glycemic penalty here, no gluten, no problem. So let's go down to the South Sea Islands. So here we are in Catawba, which is in New Guinea. This was published in 1993. This is almost 25 years old. What do we know about these people back then? I can't say for sure now. But back then, free of diabetes, free of heart disease, free of chronic diseases that cripple the current Western nations. So let's look at what they mostly ate. Cultivated boiled tubers, yam, taro, sweet potato are the staples. Up to 70% of the diet by weight. And then what do they eat? Fruits. Banana, papaya, pineapple, mango, guava, watermelon, and pumpkin. Then they eat leaves, as in salad. Nuts, coconut, okari. Okari is a nut that grows down in New Guinea. Fish, tapioca, maize, corn, and some beans. Those are their main calories. No wheat, no whole grains, no diabetes. Very uncomplicated, but too complicated for smart, educated physicians, medical physicians in America to figure out. Fish is eaten by the Catawbans 2 to 4 times a week, roughly 100 to 300 grams per person. What else do they eat? Chicken, eggs, sea eels, octopus, shellfish, turtles, flying foxes, pork, a fruit called guadilla, breadfruit, sugarcane, pandama nuts, don't know what they are, pomelo, mushrooms, and some other items are each eaten less than once a week. Coconuts and fish provide most of the fat, but total fat intake is low by Western standards. So what does their diet look like? Here you go, a diabetes-free diet, no wheat. And here you see no wheat, no grains, no beans, lots of vegetation, a little bit of fish, some leaves, and no diabetes. Very uncomplicated, very uncomplicated. Shame on the mainstream media fake news outlets promoting the notion that eating wheat-free, gluten-free will promote diabetes. It's ridiculous. So here are their tubers. So right in the middle there, you can see the taro right in the middle there. Taro. And then here's a young lady cooking some fish over the flame. And here is a beautiful young lady. You can see beautiful, gluten-free, skin is clear, no acne. And if you look at the guys as they age, this guy's probably, you can see by his face, he's probably late 30s, early 40s, packed, shredded, no gym, just hard work and staying active. This next guy's probably in his 60s. You can see him. There he is, shredded. This guy on the left probably in his 70s. The guy on the right probably late 80s, early 90s. And it is known, this population, back when they were studied, they were free of diabetes, they were free of heart disease, they were free of chronic diseases, and they were wheat and gluten-free. So ignore the gluten fake news. It is completely ridiculous.